Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. This video that I'm putting together today has a couple of things in it that I think need to be shared. Okay, so I need everyone to bear with me and understand why I'm putting this out. I put up this warning in the background, not for visual effects per se, okay, but because the story, the first story that I'm going to cover, starts off with a picture, okay, of someone who's in the hospital right now. Okay, it's nothing gory, okay, nothing like that, but it has to deal with someone going into the hospital and the doctors messing up. Okay, so if you look at my thumbnail and my title, I will be showing what I put in my thumbnail and my title. Number one, that Trump was right, okay, with the way the Democrats act, okay, how they don't have the best interests of the people. Number two, okay, which is the situation in Tucson where he did the rally last Thursday with the people having a problem with their eyesight and stuff like that, how the investigation is trying to bring some other doctor in, or I think it's a doctor, an ophthalmologist, I believe, who is trying to say that it's not nefarious about what happened, okay. And number three, which will be the first story, about this patient that went into the doctor to get a medical treatment, and the doctors decided to tell her that in order for her to get the medical treatment that she needed for her medical condition, she needed to get vaccinated. Okay, but here's the thing, so I'm gonna put some context into it so everybody could understand where I'm coming from. Number one, she's young, okay, she's in her 20s. Number two, the vaccines that they wanted her to get, it was not the COVID vaccine. Supposedly it was the vaccines for I believe they said measles, mumps, whatever the case is, basically I guess boosters, the way we used to call them, okay. But they wind up having a very negative effect on her, okay. And when I seen the story early this morning, I got up about 4:30 in the morning, I could barely sleep. I figured let me jump online and do some research. It really triggered me, it really did. And I hate using that term because I know people on the left use it, but it triggered me because of what I seen my best friend go through when she was told in order to get a job, the job that she wanted, she needed to get vaccinated. And you guys know my story. Here we are now, okay. So I'm giving everybody a fair warning that when I play this story, when I get off this screen, the news clip is going to start with the patient talking, okay. So if you don't have a strong stomach, I advise you might not want to watch the video. But I'm putting this out because I've noticed that a lot of doctors like to push patients into doing things even when the patient doesn't want to or really doesn't know. And then when something happens, they make it seem as if, you know what, they can hide behind whatever laws they think fit to hide their how can I say, their bad judgments, okay. And time again we hear about a lot of hospitals, clinics, doctors, nurses being sued and or going to prison because they wind up hurting patients or doing something wrong that sometimes will cost the patient, I should say a lot of times, will cost the patient their lives. Now, I'm not trying to knock doctors, okay? There are many, thousands, tens of thousands worldwide of doctors that truly care about patients. But then you have some medical facilities and the people that work there that are stuck on an agenda that they need to freaking push, okay? Whatever vaccines, whatever medication, whatever the hell, okay, Big Pharma tells them to push. Okay? And like I said, when I seen this story, I mean, I had to basically keep my mouth shut with my hand over my mouth and just stomach it for the 2 or 3 minutes that it is, but it's been bothering me all day. Okay? So I want everybody to, you know, get ready to watch this video. And it's a warning for people to question. Every single time you have to question. Okay? Because you guys know my story about my best friend, but I do have another short story that I will tell you about another friend. I'll say it after the video's played, so like that you guys can understand that there are people that are in the pockets, okay, of the medical industry, Big Pharma, okay, and it's all because of that mighty dollar, okay, and the fact that you have some people who are just downright stubborn as Karens that think they're saving the world and they don't care who gets hurt because everybody has to have a vaccination, everybody has to be safe because you're going to wind up hurting your fellow man or woman out in society. Okay? And I'm not putting this out for anybody not to go get medical treatment if you need it, not to get some sort of medical shot if you need it. Okay, I'm not trying to scare anybody away. What I'm saying is, it's to warn people. Okay? To spread awareness. Know before you go. Let's just put it that way. Let's coin that. Know your research before you go to the doctor. Okay? Know what's good for you and what's not. If it doesn't sound right when you get to the doctor, stop them. Get a second opinion, a third opinion. And I know that some people don't have that option. Case in point, like this story I'm going to show you about this young girl. Okay? So she went along with what the doctor said because she needed to get a medical procedure, but because, in my opinion, of the medical staff's, how can I say, can't even put the words together, their lack of medical knowledge, I guess you could say, or maybe just straight up ignorance, okay, this poor girl is suffering. So with that being said, I'm going to start the video, and like I said, fair warning, if you don't want to see what I got to show, because it's going to start right from the beginning, okay, don't get upset, just be aware and spread this information around, and then we'll get to the rest of the videos of Trump and other things that are going on with the Democrats. But here we go.
It is absolutely the worst thing I've ever been through.
23-year-old Alexis Lorenz has been sharing her excruciatingly painful health struggle on social media.
Fell asleep and woke up like this. And all they want to do is inject me with more stuff.
On September 10th, Alexis was admitted to UCI Medical Center in Orange for treatment of PNH, a rare blood disorder.
What they expressed to me was that in order to get treatment for her pre-existing condition, she needed to be vaccinated in order to continue treatment. And if she didn't abide by getting the vaccinations, they would have to let her go home.
For religious reasons, Alexis and her family have lived most of their lives without vaccinations. But when faced with the possibility of receiving no treatment for her condition, Alexis says she ultimately agreed to the hospital's requirement of receiving 3 vaccines: meningitis, pneumonia, and tetanus. Within 10 minutes, she had an extreme adverse reaction.
This is not okay. please, please share this video. Please spread this. Please show what they're doing to me, please.
It's quite obvious that she wasn't breaking out in any type of rash or anything previous to getting the 3 shots.
She lost vision in both eyes. She started bleeding out of her nose. She started vomiting, and then these purple patches under her skin started appearing at the top of her head and then just started spreading, and it's now covering pretty much all of her body.
Alexis gave UCI Medical Center permission to release her records and discuss her case with Fox 11 News. But despite repeated calls and emails, UCI Media Relations has not responded.
I feel like she deserves so much better than what she's gotten.
Samantha Lorenz has been by her sister's side the entire time. She alleges hospital staff were slow to address the adverse reaction.
She started getting all of these, like, it kind of looked like pimples at first, but she was completely clean-faced. And then within the night, it progressed so badly. But they did absolutely nothing about it. They should have started treating her right away. They should have started helping her right away. I'm beyond scared, and everything on my body hurts.
Alexis is slowly getting better. She has regained vision in both eyes. I have been told it could take several weeks before she is well enough to be released.
You know, when I seen this video at the end when she was saying that she's scared and her whole body hurts. It reminded me of my friend when she was suffering. Because the powers that be and doctors and all that said that she was okay to get the jab, and they were wrong. And no matter what they did or how they try to cover it up, they didn't name it. Okay, it cost her her life. And when I see this girl, the way she's laying there, I could only imagine the pain she's going through. And it really pisses me off, because it's like, if you know that somebody already has a condition in their body that they're going for treatment for, you know that this person has never been vaccinated because the family doesn't believe in vaccines. Why, oh why, would you inject somebody with 3 different types of vaccines, knowing that the treatments that she's going to the doctor for, to the hospital for, is for a rare blood condition? So I just wanted to put this video out there so people can see that, you know what, like I said, it may sound corny, but know before you go. Okay? Whatever it is you're suffering from that you need to go to the doctor, or even if you're going for a checkup and they want to give you something, if it doesn't feel good in your gut when they tell it to you, then obviously it's probably not going to be good. Okay? Do research. Find out what's going on, especially when it comes to kids. Okay? Because I know firsthand that, and I know this is going to piss off a lot of people, I don't give a shit. There's a lot of nefarious shit going on in the medical field. Okay? And I'm going to tell you my little story before we end this and get to the rest of the stories that I want to tell you. I had a friend of mine who was given birth years ago. Okay? 13 years ago to be exact. Okay? It was her first child. She had a falling out with the baby's father. Even though he wanted to be there when the baby was born, she called me up from the hospital, not hysterical, just very anxious and worried because she wasn't going to deny him from being at the hospital, but he got stuck at work. It was really cold. It was during the winter. He got stuck at, I think he drove a truck or something. He wanted to be there, but he just couldn't make it. So she didn't want to go it alone. She called me up and another friend of mine. We both went down to the hospital. Okay. We got there after they finished prepping her to give birth. Okay, so the night went through. We waited. She didn't have a difficult birth. Okay, but it was rough her first time. Whatever, but it took a lot of hours. So we wind up leaving because after she gave birth, she was really tired and weak. Whatever, and we wind up coming back. About 2 days later, I went back to go visit her at the hospital, and we're talking, and she tells me, I'm scared. I said, why are you scared? And she said a nurse came in. Okay? She had told the nurse and the doctors she wanted to have a natural birth. She said in the middle of the night, some nurse came in, and she was groggy. They gave her something for pain that made her groggy to deal with the pain, but it wasn't anything that was like going to knock her out. But she said some nurse came in and she woke up, and so she was still groggy, and she asked the nurse, what's going on? But when she woke up, the nurse was getting ready to inject her with something. And she asked the nurse, she goes, what is that? And she goes, oh, it's nothing. We got to give this to you. And she goes, no, I don't want it. What is that? And she said all she remembers was the nurse forcefully holding her arm and injecting her. And then she said she just felt, she was so groggy that she fell asleep. She never thought about it till she woke up. Now she's clear-minded, and now she's telling me that she's scared. And I asked her, I said, did you ask the doctor and all that? And she said yes. And they told her that they don't have it written down that anybody came in to give her any medication, to give her anything. Okay? And she says she never seen the nurse again. Now, this is not some made-up story for anybody to think that I'm trying to go down some rabbit hole or trying to start some bullshit. No. So I told her, I said, this is what you're going to do. I said, you're going to take care of yourself no matter what. You're going to keep going for checkups, and you need to pay attention to the baby. Every little thing, you need to pay attention to the baby. Because this happened before she gave birth. I believe, yes, it was before she gave birth. Okay, then she gave birth and she was groggy. After she got over her grogginess, that's when she was able to tell me. So, thank God, it's been 13 years. The baby is a strong baby boy. He's great. He's a great kid. He does well, but he was having some trouble growing up, and not physical problems, but more like, I'm not going to say psychological, but in a way it was, okay? And every time she took the baby to the doctor, whatever, they always try to tell her, you got to put him on this, you got to put him on that. And she always said, no, you're not going to, I'm not putting my child on anything. Okay? So now she's moved out, and this was in New York. Okay, back home in the Bronx. So the reason why I bring that up to go with this story is because the medical field, for the most part, for a big part of it, is getting better. But there is a small part that I believe that is still experimental, and we're all guinea pigs. Okay? Whoever that nurse was that did that, they gave her whatever, God only knows. Whatever it was that they injected in her, God only knows. Thank God it's been 13 years and there's been no kind of side effects on her or the baby. I still call him a baby even though he's 13. Okay? But then we fast forward, look what happened to my friend, my best friend. We come to this story, look what happened to this girl. You know, just because they say that it's good for you doesn't necessarily mean that it is. There are over 8 billion people on this planet. 8 billion different types of people on this planet. They do not make medication that caters to every single person on this planet. Just remember that. Okay? So do your research. Let people know. Okay? I just thought I needed to share this with people. And if it's a shock to you, the video how she looks, I'm sorry. But these are things that, you know what? I've only seen this story once. Now, it was put out yesterday. Let's see if it hits the airwaves. Okay? Let's just see. But, with that being said, okay, quickly, I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. If you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. Also, I'm leaving a link to Loza Alexander's Gifts and Go campaign. If you guys can help him out and or leave him words of encouragement and prayer, I mean, it's greatly appreciated. Okay? So, with all that being said, we're going to move on to what's going on with Trump. And, something that's going on in Michigan, okay? And if there's, and somebody already left me, somebody left me a comment last night telling me that Trump was a threat to democracy. It is what it is. I responded. They haven't responded back. Unless I've missed the message, I haven't seen it. But here's something. I'm going to show you guys something, so bear with me with the video. It's going to be kind of a long one of what's going on in Michigan. And just so people know that Michigan, they're saying Michigan's in play. Michigan is being run by the Democrats. Just so people can see how much, and all you lefties that watch this, just so you can see how much the Democrats say they care about people, the middle class person. But with all that being said, let's get to the videos. Here we go. Okay, this video clip I'm going to show, we're going to start it off with Trump, okay? Everybody on the left keeps saying that Trump's a racist. He's a racist, that he comes from a family that didn't care about anybody. Okay? This video was put out 7 years ago. But this woman in the video has actually been living in Trump Towers, okay, for years, okay, before Trump even became president. I want you guys to listen to a story, okay? It's about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Here we go.
Hi everybody. I am a squatter in Donald Trump's building, Trump Tower, in New York City. As you can see, I'm in my pajamas. There's Central Park right there. And that tall building is the Essex House on Central Park West, near 59th Street. I came in here about 9 years ago and snuck in the building and just started occupying one of the empty rooms in here. By the time our housekeeper noticed I was here the next day, she called the manager and they called the New York City police.
Okay, just quickly, her audio and the way that it recorded is off, but I have seen the actual video myself. You can find it, okay? That is her. This is not anybody sublibbing and putting words into her mouth. This is her actual testimony. Let's continue.
Who came up here and told me I had to leave or I would be arrested. When I told them I would not go, they contacted Mr. Trump over the phone, and he came down here. Instead of him evicting me off the property, he said that I can stay. And it's been 8 years I've been here. Not only did he not evict me off the property, he made sure that I get 3 meals a day, by room service, and that I get a delivery of fresh flowers every week. So you people, not a bad guy at all.
Okay, you see the way the audio caught up with it? So this is actually her. It was just in the beginning, the video, the audio and video were not lining up, I guess you can say.
If it weren't for him, I'd be homeless, I'd be dead right now. I'd be in the street. I asked him how am I gonna pay him back for all of this, and he told me I can pay him back whenever I get it, which is never. I have no idea why he did this with me. It's been 9 years, and I've been here for totally free, and I haven't paid a dime. Donald Trump is not a bad guy. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. And everything I'm telling you today is true. Goodbye.
Okay, and I'm gonna leave it at that. That's just one, okay, of many, many stories that the media won't talk about Trump, that they suppressed from people, that if a lot of their constituents knew, they would not be voting Democrat. Okay? People say, well, that's just one story. Oh no, there's a lot more. Trust me, there's a lot more. Okay? Excuse me. This iced tea gives me a lot of heartburn. But that's why I get upset with the way he's treated by the left, and treated so viciously and disgustingly. Okay? Show me one Democrat politician, okay, that can put out a story like this about something that they've done. Okay? Not just for some total stranger, for as much as one of their own constituents. Okay? I'll be holding my breath. Okay? And it's not, like I said, this is not just a one-off. Okay, I got more to show you. Here we go. Now I want people to listen to this short, okay, that came out. Something a lot of people won't talk about. And this is by Judge Joe Brown, if anybody knows who he is. Okay, listen to what he has to say about Donald Trump. Okay, that a lot of people on the left don't know about, and the ones that do, many of them won't even speak about it, because it goes against their leftist narrative. Check out this story.
Is Trump a racist?
I don't think so. I've talked to a number of black entrepreneurs who back in the late 80s and 90s, early 90s, were trying to get financing. They couldn't. Somebody told them to go check with Donald Trump. So they come back and tell me they got a loan from Donald Trump. He gave them a term loan, show up with the interest and the principal, one check, but they had to go see him personally. They independently relate this tale that when they saw him, he said, "This is what you supposed to pay me? This our agreement?" I said, "Yeah." And then tore the check up, shook their hands, and congratulations, now run your business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What kind of a racist does that? What kind of a racist white man gives, okay, and this is Judge Joe Brown, back in the 80s and 90s, would give black entrepreneurs, because they could not get money, they could not get loans from anybody else, were told, go talk to Donald Trump. They will go get the loan, and Donald Trump would tell them, come back to me, okay, with the interest and the principal, meaning the money I loan you plus the interest on the money that you agreed to pay me for loaning you the money. They came back with that, okay, on a check to say, thank you, sir, here you go. And he would ask, is the business doing good? Yeah. And he'd rip up the fucking check and say, now go run your business. Didn't take back a penny. Okay? Show me a Democrat that has done that for their own. Show me a black Democrat, a Hispanic Democrat, anybody that has done that for their own. For their own kind, or an American for that matter. But yet they say Donald Trump's a racist. Okay? Now people may say, well, he did it because for publicity, for publicity, just because he wanted people to, get on his good side. That may be true. Who knows? But he was in the spotlight no matter what. Okay? And this was a long time ago that this interview came out. Alright? Or, instead of him doing it for publicity, maybe he did it because maybe it was the way he was brought up. Because, the left keeps saying that Trump was brought up a rich man, a silver spoon in his mouth. His father left him millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Okay? But now let's fast forward to the rally he had in New York a few days ago, over the weekend I believe it was. Okay? And let's listen to a story from somebody in the crowd that talks about Donald Trump's father. Here we go. Now this was put up by Black Conservative 24 3 days ago. And this is a clip, okay, that was put out at the rally in New York. And there was people outside out in Uniondale. And this man wanted to tell his story to one of the reporters, okay, that was there at the rally. Listen to this story. This is about Donald Trump's father. Here we go.
This is just beautiful.
I have an amazing story to tell you real quick about what President Trump's father, Fred Trump, did for myself, for my brother, for my sister, for my mother. 1974, my dad suffered a major heart attack. I went to the same school as Donald Trump, the Q Forest School. 3 days after my father's burial, there was a knock on the door one school morning, 7 a.m. I answered the door. It's a distinguished gentleman. I was 10 years old. My father just died. The gentleman said, kid, call your mom. I called my mom from upstairs. She came down. Gentleman said to my mom, I am Fred Trump, Donald's father. And my mom says, yes, I know Donald went to the Q Forest School. And Mr. Fred Trump said to my mom, yes, Mrs. Stratton, very sorry about Joseph's death. And what you don't know is I'm still on the board of trustees at the Q Forest School. And this morning, I let Headmaster Mr. Philip Rogers know that from this day forward, myself, Fred Trump, out of my own pocket, is going to pay for your 3 children's tuition because I don't want the kids have to go back into the public school system. And the tuition, the tuition in 1974 was $2,500 per child, $7,500, which is about $80,000, $100,000 in today's money. And who would do that except the President Trump's father? The fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, and they give the Trump family grief. The Trump family is a wonderful family, the entire family, sorry. And who else? Can you picture Joseph Biden or Kamala Harris doing that? No. All they care about is buying another mansion. I'm going to tell you, the Trump family is wonderful. I love you, Donald. I wish I could shake your hand. It was my mother's last dying wish to shake your hand and to thank your father, Fred Trump, for what he did for us kids. in 1974 in Forest Hills, New York.
I'm gonna leave it at that. You know, he is true when he says the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, because think about it. What does Trump talk about when it comes to the Board of Education, of how corrupt it is? He talked about, when he was president, about people homeschooling, having school choice, okay? His father went and told this guy's mom, I don't want you to put your kids in public school. Keep them in this school. Okay? That was in 1974 that his father did that. Here we are, 50 years later, okay, literally 50 years later, and this man is telling his story about what Trump's father did. But yet, the left, mainstream media, says that Trump's a racist, his father was a racist, all this bullshit. Has anybody ever heard a story of Joe Biden and his family doing something like this? Kamala and her family doing something like this? No, she goes around and says, I grew up in a middle-class family. I'll say it again. That's bullshit. Her mother and father were well off. Okay? Maybe not as rich as the Trumps, but Kamala didn't have to go, okay, and say that she worked at McDonald's, because now news is coming out that there are some spokespersons from McDonald's Corporation saying that they looked into their archives to see, because they wanted to know if it was true, and they missed the fact that they have a woman in her, you know, with her status that worked for them. They didn't find anything about her working for McDonald's. So it's a lie. But yet, people call Trump and his family racist. Okay? Then you'll have disgruntled family members that never got money talking bad about Trump. It's not that hard to find out that information on them. They're more than willing to come out and talk bad about him, but when you do some digging, they were like, I'm not going to say the black sheep of the family, but they were like the tag-alongs, the Klingons of the family. Thinking that just because some of their family's rich, they don't have to do a damn thing. So now they'll go for their payday now to CNN and MSNBC and all that and try to talk bad about Trump. Okay? And yet the Democrats, no matter what, keep saying that Trump is a threat to democracy. Like the person that left me a message last night saying that Trump is a threat to democracy. And then brought up a question. I answered the question in full, and I have yet to get a response. Will I get a response? I don't know. I'm hoping that that person will check out the message I left and do some research and find out exactly. And the message pertained to, okay, of Trump spewing the term bloodbath. Okay, so I had to you know, describe in detail why he came out and used that phrase. But yet the mainstream media is pushing another narrative. But we all know this. If anybody's on my channel, you guys know this. Okay? But when you go and you keep pushing an agenda, you get weak-minded people that want to go and hurt other people. Because everybody hates one man, they go and take it out on everybody else. Okay? And yet the left says that they're the party of democracy, of love, of acceptance, of inequity, of diversity. Okay? And a lot of people ask, why doesn't Trump really push to have, you know, certain people arrested? And I agree. I totally 100% agree. But the way he said, the way he's going to do things, okay, and I'm still skeptical. I truly think that he is going to, you know, unleash the dogs when he becomes president. But what he's basically also doing is letting them expose themselves. Okay? And they are. Okay? They really are. And you still have politicians coming up the woodwork still talking bad about Trump, and it's like, haven't you retired? We know you don't like him. But shouldn't you be, you know, retired already? But that's because they just don't care. They want to still be part of that leftist agenda. They want the money, they want the power, they want the control. Okay? So I just wanted to throw that in. I'm going to throw in something really quick about Nancy Pelosi in case anybody on the left says that, oh, like Robert De Niro says, we're the party of gentlemen. We are gentlemen trying to save this country. Yeah, let's see how ladylike or gentlemanlike some of these leftist politicians are. Here we go. Like I said, people, that last video clip was by Black Conservatives 24, so don't forget to go on his channel and show him some love, okay? This is a quick clip of what Nancy Pelosi did in case anybody forgot or didn't see it. But this was while Trump was president. This is how grimy, okay, these leftists are. Check this out. Now, mind you, she stuck her hand out to shake Donald Trump's hand. He walked away. You can see the disgust on his face because before this, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, all they did was badmouth Trump. That's all they did was badmouth him. And not only badmouth him, like literally insult him to his face. Okay? So he snubbed her. But check out what she does.
Thank you. God bless you. And God bless America. Thank you very much.
Just a disgusting witch of a woman. Okay? They started attacking him before he became president. They attacked him while he was president. The one time he goes and he snubs her, it's not good enough. She has to have the last word like a freaking child, ripping up the teddy bear, ripping up paper, throwing a tantrum. What does she do behind the president on camera? Rips up the paperwork that he wind up giving Pence and her, which are documents that people usually hold on to because it's an honor. But no, she has to be the wretched queen wolf woman that she is and do something like that. Okay? It's like you can't win with these people. You just can't. But people say that what a lot of things that Donald Trump, that what he does is insightful. No, what he does, what a lot of people don't know, and I've said it a few times, okay, is that Donald Trump is a chess player. In this game in politics, he is playing his best chess. He is letting them expose their next move and how they're going to lose. And it's working. Because like he did almost 8 years ago, okay, he's doing it again. And if anybody's noticed, more and more people on the left are exposing themselves, and you see on TV, on video, on audio what they're doing. All they have are accusations and just a dictionary of bad words on how to vilify people and what names to call them when they get exposed. Okay? Excuse me. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Now we're going to get to the last two clips. The one of, it's an update actually that came out today of what happened in Arizona at the Trump rally where the people's eyes started burning. And then I'm going to show you, and to all you leftists out there, since everybody says that Kamala's winning Michigan, that since Michigan's blue, it'll never turn red, because in Michigan, they love their middle class workers. They love their constituents. Just so you guys know, something that came out today, okay? So, to let people know how Michigan feels about their middle class. But let's get to the first clip. Here we go. Here's an update. It came out about, actually it came out yesterday, okay? I didn't know that it came out, but here's an update of what's going on. And there's going to be something that's very interesting in all this, okay? Which on this one we're going to have to go down the rabbit hole, because it doesn't make sense. It almost sounds like something's being covered up. But check this out.
It is a story that News 4 Tucson investigators first broke right here. It has since been reported around the world. And tonight we look deeper into the mysterious eye injuries that some Donald Trump supporters say they experienced during his rally here in Tucson.
All very bizarre. News 4 Tucson Chief Investigative Reporter Corus Nylander has learned more tonight. And Corus, you join us live outside the Linda Ronstadt Music Hall where that rally was held and all of this really began. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Monica, what we know at this point is the Trump campaign is handling this investigation. The city and county both tell me that they have no involvement in it. The Secret Service tells me that they did not identify any threat to former President Trump, so they're not involved in this investigation.
Okay, that's the first one. Okay, Trump is paying out of pocket to investigate what's going on. Never mind the local authorities investigating this. My thing is this. Why is Secret Service so quick to say, you know what, we're not going to investigate, since it wasn't a threat towards Trump, we're not going to investigate? Just like that? Okay, you didn't find something strange about all this? They did it. And it's because of one person who supposedly investigated it and came up with their theory, not an actual fact, their theory, but then somebody else comes and knocks that theory, down, and they still won't investigate it. I'll point it out when we get to it. Here we go.
But in the meantime, more victims are stepping forward, wanting answers.
I can't see anything. When I try to open my eyes, it's like a white cloud.
That's how Myra Rodriguez describes the morning after she attended Donald Trump's Tucson rally. She was seated in a group of 24 people on stage right behind the former president. The News 4 Tucson investigators now know of more than 10 people that reported leaving the rally with similar mysterious eye injuries.
Last time we met,
Okay, I'm going to pause it right quickly and show you guys something. And I think I mentioned it yesterday. Okay.
More than 10 people that reported leaving the.
Remember when I said on my last video that it's funny how older people on this side a lot of people on this side, I should say, got infected, and I had mentioned I didn't know which way Trump was coming in or out, so that was something that we needed to, I guess wait and see. But now we see people leaving this way, so chances are this is the same way Trump came in and came out. And the Secret Service doesn't find this area right here to be a coincidence? I don't know, but let's continue.
Rally with similar mysterious eye injuries.
Last time we met, I couldn't even see you.
A week later, Myra's vision has improved, but she is still waiting for answers on what caused her and so many others' eye problems.
It makes me sad because a lot of the lives are at hold from those people who were injured, right? Some of them have not been able to return to work, they have put a lot of things on pause because they have to go to the doctor, right? They have doctor bills.
Myra says her medical bills weren't covered by insurance. There are many theories surfacing on what could have caused this incident, from a potential chemical to AC dust, or was it the lighting? The News 4 Tucson investigators asked the city, which operates the venue, about its AC system. A spokesperson says the HVAC system received a full service in 2021. Filters are changed every quarter, and anything that flowed through the AC, they say, would have went across the entire building. They went on to say that there were back-to-back events before the rally that had no issues.
That venue needs to be.
Now that right there, that's the second thing. If they had back-to-back rallies with no issues, but now this is the issue when Donald Trump shows up, how does the Secret Service say they're not going to investigate? I don't get it. Okay, but there's a little more. Listen to what this man has to say.
Events before the rally that had no issues.
That venue needs to be checked to see if there is a lighting that's emitting UV radiation, because it'll happen again.
Lou Badine is a retired ophthalmologist with over 30 years of experience. He believes the injuries reported sound exactly like patient cases he handled in the past involving UV lighting or damaged lights, producing more radiation than they're supposed to.
It really fits the picture. It's a delayed onset. It gets progressively worse for the first 24 hours, and for 24, 48 hours, it's really excruciating. Then they start to get better.
A chemical he expects would have had a much more immediate effect. The city of Tucson, which operates the music hall, says all lighting was organized by the Trump campaign. We learned the campaign hired a company called Clearwing to handle.
Okay, now listen to this. The company that Trump handles, if anybody knows, when Trump does rallies, he is a stickler on lighting, on audio, on anything that's going to sound right. He gets very upset if the microphone's not working, if the lighting's bad, if it's too hot, or whatever the case is. Okay, This is a man who is seasoned in being in the spotlight. So it's only right that this man would hire his own people to make sure that wherever he goes, okay, whatever venue he's going to be at, that they're going to try to get these things right. Okay? I mean, call it what you want. Call it being too glamorous, whatever. That's fine. He's got the money. Just like any movie star, they want the right makeup. Just like any NASCAR driver, he wants the right pit crew. You dig what I'm saying? They're going to hire the people that they know are going to take care of them when they're on the road. It's not unheard of. Music artists do it all the time. They have their own roadies. I mean, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm sure you do. Okay? So now you had that guy who's an ophthalmologist, retired or whatever, was in the business for 30 years, saying that it could have been the lighting. Okay, I get it. That's his assessment. Okay? But now listen to what the guy that Trump does business with has to say.
Clearwing to handle lighting. The company's owner told me they did not use any UV lighting and said they use standard TV broadcast products, and suggested the lighting isn't even a consideration because they and many other companies have used the same lighting fixtures at hundreds of events for decades. He says the lights are safe. Myra just hopes she can get answers soon.
I just don't
see. That company is in the business with other companies to make sure they get their shit right. Okay? That's why he said the lighting is not a factor. This has nothing to do with the lighting. But, kind of ironic that, like I said, even if local law enforcement doesn't want to get involved or do an investigation, okay, obviously they have to come in if somebody got hurt, which I would think that, yes, people are in the hospital, somebody did get hurt. You might want to bring in a couple of more organizations to figure it out, but that's thrown out the window. Secret Service, we already know what's going on with them. They're out the window. They don't want to be bothered with it. So now Trump has to go and investigate this on his own. I don't know, people. Kind of strange.
I don't want this to happen, and I don't want anything to happen to more people.
And as of right now, we're just awaiting more information from the Trump campaign to see if they can identify any potential causes to this. We're going to stay on top of this major story. As we learn more, we'll make sure to keep you updated. Reporting.
Okay, there you go. Now, if anybody looked at in the beginning of the video, when Trump was walking in the front of the people, he shook that woman Myra's hand. He was shaking the people in the front. See, I thought she was in the back. She was actually in the front. Okay? So who's to say somebody didn't spray something down? I'm just saying, not trying to, start a conspiracy here. What if something came from, from up top? And it basically missed its target. Or it evaporated enough where it didn't do that much harm. As to maybe if it was more of a direct contact, it would have did harm. Some very bad harm. I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see on that and see what happens. In this day and age, the way with germ warfare and stuff like that that's been going on for decades, anything is possible. I'm not trying to blow a dog whistle. I'm not trying to say this is something that, that they were out to get him again. Wink, wink. But, I mean, it does leave it up to the, individual person to start thinking, wait a minute. This doesn't sound right. Okay? It doesn't sound right. So I'm hoping and praying to God, that to the Lord Jesus Christ, that you know what? If it was something nefarious, that Trump and his crew can find out what the hell it was. Okay? So we'll leave it at that. So now for my last clip, and thank you for sticking around. Excuse me. We all know that Trump said that he was going to put no tax on tips. Okay? And then Kamala Harris came out and started running that bit. Okay, so she got caught out there, which we all know she's not going to do it. Now Trump is saying that he is going to put no tax on overtime. Okay, he's going to make it a law. No tax on overtime, no tax on tips. I think no tax on Social Security or something like that. Okay, basically eliminating areas in people's financial world where they can save a lot of money. Okay, which is the right thing to do. That's how you help out, okay, the populace. To all you lefties out there that are listening, that's how you help out to make your democracy better. But that's not good enough for some politicians in Michigan. Okay? And this came out, and if you ask me, this is probably something that's definitely going to help Trump win Michigan, hands down. Here we go. So I'll play this last clip. This is what's going on in Michigan, and I hope, again, I'm going to keep saying it, I hope you lefties are watching this, okay? Especially all you lefties in Michigan that think that living under a Democrat rule, okay, and or a Ronald Republican rule, or whatever it is, if you think that Michigan will never turn red, eat your heart out on this.
A Michigan law could potentially take away tipping from service workers.
And many of them gathered in Lansing this afternoon to speak with lawmakers about the change that they believe will be harmful.
Taryn Simmons was at the Capitol today and spoke with servers who say they're worried about the future of what's called tipping culture.
Sherry Siobhan, there were hundreds of servers and bartenders at the Capitol, many of them from all across the state of Michigan, hoping to keep their tips. Back in July of this year, the law was passed to take away tip credits from servers and bartenders and replace it with minimum wage pay. Many servers say this could ruin their livelihoods.
Taking it away, I think, is going to hurt a lot of families, a lot of people that make more than minimum wage now and won't make that after.
If they took that away from me, it'd be very hard to support my style of living.
Tiffany Greco and Josh Dickinson were one of hundreds of servers and bartenders at the Capitol this afternoon, making their voices heard about their concerns of getting their tips taken away and being replaced with minimum wage pay. Greco, a server and bartender at Sedona Tap House in Novi, says she's not taking anything less than her tips.
Because personally, I make a lot more than minimum wage, and honestly, I don't think minimum wage is a real living wage anyway.
The current minimum wage in Michigan is $10.33, but servers make only $3.84 plus tips. Next year, the minimum wage will be boosted to $12, and waiters say they will no longer be able to rely on tips, which...
Okay, I'm going to cut in real quick, people. And believe me, when I watched this story, I mean, I was cursing at the laptop, okay, screaming at whoever can hear me, which nobody could, but basically directing my anger towards these elitists for wanting to take away more from American people, taking away more of their livelihood, okay? They think that, you know what, if we take away the tips and give you minimum wage, let's say you're doing an 8-hour shift, you're only going to make $80. They're going to tax the shit out of that, so you're making about $60, give or take, depending. Whereas a person that gets tips in an 8-hour shift, they know the consequences. They could either make $40 or they can make $400. Okay? But that's not good enough for the powers that be. No, they don't want you to have that kind of money. They'd rather pay you minimum wage so you can pay taxes on it and struggle even more. Okay? And how ironic that not too long ago, Trump was saying about no tax on tips, and now all of a sudden, maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences. Or maybe it so happens that they brought this law out back in July, what they were going to do. Trump caught wind of it and said, you know what? That's not right. I'm going to pass a law saying there's going to be no tax on tips. You see what I'm saying? Either way, the powers that be, in my opinion, if this goes through, okay, they lost Michigan. Hands down. But let's continue.
Scares Dickinson, a bartender at Applebee's.
I think that it'll justify it for people not to be able to tip, and I think it'll affect everybody significantly.
Greco says that with the rise in the minimum wage would not only hurt the employees, but the customers as well.
Restaurants are going to have to pass that cost onto the customer somehow, either in higher food prices or some type of service charge or something like that.
Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Okay? It's true. If you're going to force the hand of the employee to say, you know what, we're going to make it against the law that any of the employees get tips. We want you to change that and give them minimum wage on top of the $3 an hour you already give them, what's going to happen? The business is going to say, okay, we're going to raise up prices on our products. Whereas all they got to do is pay the workers $3 an hour, $5 an hour for being there physically, but leave it up to the public to be gracious enough and say, here. But the powers that be don't want that. They don't want to help people. They don't want people to thrive. They don't want people to survive. Okay? They want everybody to freaking suffer. And now, Michigan, that's supposed to be blue and is supposed to be in play, is going to pull this shit. Okay? Guess what, Michigan? You just lost tens of thousands of voters. If this goes through, you just lost tens of thousands of voters. You lost the state. Plain and simple. You lost it. Okay? Eat your heart out. Because you done went, instead of you pander yourselves and push yourselves to be a blue state, okay, that's for the middle class, working, hard-working middle class people, and you're taking away their livelihood. Because you can't stand the fact that somebody that goes out there to be a bartender, a waiter, a waitress, whatever the case is getting money that was already taxed. You don't want them to get anything for free. Okay? You want the people to own little to nothing and be happy. It just cost you Michigan. I guarantee it. It just cost you Michigan. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. Also, I'm leaving a link to Loza Alexander's Gifts and Go campaign. If you guys can help them out or leave them words of encouragement and prayer, is greatly appreciated. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for Donald Trump. And don't forget to get out there and vote. And again, if you can pray for Loza and keep him in your prayers, thank you so much. Peace.